Yo, what is going on, guys? So, it's probably been a month since the last trading episode. I've made a bunch of trades. Some trades I'm not the proudest of. Some trades aged awfully, and Snowflake has basically skyrocketed. And a lot of these trades are heavily outdated, so I will try my best to provide the older pictures of the trades as I get into the trades. So without further ado, let's start with the first trade. So as you guys can see, this was the first trade. At the time, I believe it was around a 25,000 overpay. If I have the screenshot, I'll be popping it up right here. And on with the next trade. Right over here, I believe this was around 300 overpay at the time, maybe 800 overpay. It wasn't bad because I got some demand. And if I can find the picture, I'll pop it up right here. On with the next trade. Over here with the Green Queen of the Night, I've downgraded it at the time for a 3,000 overpay. If I can find the picture, I'll pop it right here. But this trade ended up aging kind of good, and this became around an 8,000 overpay. And then this trade right here, this was around equal at the time because I really needed the Robux for this item right here. And then this trade right here, at the time, this was around a cheap overpay. If I can find the picture, I'll pop it up right here. This trade right here, at the time, this was around a 4,000 to 5,000 overpay, so this was really good. However, this trade ended up aging really badly. On with the next trade. Here, I got around a 500 overpay on my gold clockworks with an upgrade into agonizing ugly yellow baseball cap, but of course the baseball cap has been doing tremendously good. It's been selling pretty high lately. On with the next trade. Over here, I managed to overpay around 300 for Crimson Wrath, got a cheap upgrade, and we started kind of hyping up Crimson Wrath, and the proofs start to show around 3,000 overpays now. But at the time that I did this trade, Crimson Wrath was, I guess, just a regular wrap item. And then right over here, I managed to give around a 15,000 overpay for Madness Face, but it ended up aging gracefully into a 2,500 overpay. If I can find the trade, I'll pop it right here. On with the next trade over here. At the time, this was what I believe to be around a 6,000 to 7,000 overpay. If I can find the picture, I'll pop it up right here. But of course, this trade ended up aging gracefully. And actually, at the time, I've also had Golden Teapot and Joaquin's Guitar inbound for Snowflake guys, but I filtrated so much that I just decided to add in the Ultimate Dragon Face. And then right over here, this trade was around a 6,300 overpay. If I can find the trade details, I'll pop it up right here. And the trade actually ended up aging awfully. However, Madness Face is likely to drop. Snowflake guys is likely to plummet during Halloween, but you know what, that's in 7 months, so I can't really be bothered about that. But you know, Snowflake guys, it's been doing really good, and this is likely going to become a 22,000 overpay tomorrow, which I'm not excited to see because Blue Clockworks, I believe, does cap at around a 12,000 overpay. So on with the next trade. And then right here, I managed to get around a 3,000 overpay on my Crimson Wrath. At the time, this was also 3,000 overpay, but both of the items ended up raising, both the Crimson Wrath and the Police Sergeant cap, so I guess it's pretty fair. And then right over here, I really needed the Robux for the Hunt event, so I could buy this item right here. Very ugly item, but you know, not the worst trade, so I can't complain. And then right over here, this trade ended up aging awfully, but at the time it wasn't even that bad. But you know, on with the next trade. Right here, this trade ended up aging gracefully as Crystallized Power Mask has dropped tremendously in price, and it's such an ugly item. No offense to you guys that do like it, but it's such an ugly item. I managed to get such a great price for it. You know, at the time I think it was around 300 overpay, so this is pretty fair. And then right over here, guys, this was around an equal trade at the time. However, Frosty Fedora has been doing tremendously good, and it's likely going to raise 500, and it's going to go up, just like Snowflake guys did. So I recommend investing in Frosty Fedora instantly. Low copies, low everything. It just looks good as hell. I think it's such a good investment. I don't regret this trade whatsoever. I don't care if it was a 500 overpay. But yeah, so I've done this. And with that being said, that's all the trades that I've completed, guys. This month's been excellent. I do not have premium. I don't know if I'll return to trading. Of course, as y'all can see my bio. Taking a bit break from trading limits for now. So with that being said, y'all have a nice one. Like, subscribe, share this video as always. Help us reach 500 subscribers. And yeah, see y'all. Bye.